we are again. It's 5:15 in the AM. The world is quiet, which is a beautiful thing. Won't be quiet for long, but for the next maybe 2 hours, it will be nothing but silence. Blessed with a literally 30-second drive to our gym. It is a wonderful thing. Let's see if we've got any other morning warriors here. Betcha we will. At least one. We should see. Oh, beautiful. I have one buddy here at the moment. And then just me. As it should be. Hello, friend. Welcome.
That was pretty awful. I kind of feel like dying right now. Whew. Both physically and mentally.
Kill me, please.
That's a joke. It's not that bad. But definitely pretty tired right now. Like I said earlier, this was definitely one of those workouts where very easy to slip into a bad attitude. Because I was just very tired this morning. Not only like sleepy tired, but also I just felt very weak. My muscles felt very weak. But that happens. No worries. Again, the victory is the fact that I'm here. And that it is still not even 6:30 yet. And I feel as though I've conquered the day. Oh my goodness gracious. So weird that my definition of a perfect day is when it's raining outside. I don't know if that's weird or not. I came out to my car. It looked like it had rained a little bit while I was in the gym. And I hope it's not done. It'd be awesome if it rained a little bit more today. Stayed cool outside. I'd be down with that. Home once again. It is still silent. How nice. My favorite part of the morning is just right around the corner. So what's the point? What's the point of all this footage, audio, putting this all together? There's a couple points that I'd like to share. Yeah, this past year, it's been an interesting time in my life and Brittany and I's life. It's a lot of change, a lot of things we've had to adjust to, and it's been great. It's weird because it's been the hardest year of my life by far, but also the best year of my life by far. And I didn't think that those two things could commingle in the way that they have. But I've learned a lot of stuff along the way about me, about her, about us together, of course about God. And it's been a lot of hard lessons. Some have been easy, most have not been. I think my most recent lesson has been trying to figure out how to prioritize my time and my life. So school year rolls around and things get really, really busy, like intensely busy. And every week I'm like, wow, I'm just constantly doing things. And I feel like I'm never stopping. And then the next week rolls around and it just gets more busy and more intense. And her and I are doing an internship program this year on top of what we're already doing, which is basically like going back to college part-time while working a full-time job. And it's a lot. I love it, but it's a lot. So one of the hard lessons that I've had to learn recently was, how do I prioritize this time? The last few weeks, I've just not been having a good time. Just been really exhausted, like physically, mentally. And I feel like I was always trying to catch up on things. I was always like 2 or 3 steps behind of where I wanted to be regarding like everything that I was doing. And I couldn't figure out how to catch up. And again, to condense a lot of information and background into a smaller snippet that I'd love to share more about in the future. I've always had a really intense struggle with sleep. I've always had a bad relationship with sleep. I've never been like officially, diagnosed with anything like that. I really don't want to be, honestly. But I have some pretty bad insomnia a lot of the time. And of course, once I got married, obviously, I share a bed with someone now. And it took, sharing my life at that level of intimacy for me to realize that my relationship with sleep is not normal at all. It's actually very unhealthy. But once things really started to pick up here, I came to the realization that I needed to make some kind of change. I didn't know what to do about it. I prayed a lot. I've tried the path of taking like medications, over-the-counter sleep aids, and I've just, again, not had a good relationship with those either. But I really started to like lean on God more. I mean, I've had to. Working in ministry, your life is like under a magnifying glass all the time. And it's amazing how things just kind of come to the surface when you're working in ministry. Like, you have to deal with your stuff. You can't hide it. So I really started to ask God, what do I do? How do I manage this life? How do I balance everything? Because I want to succeed where He's put me. And I didn't know how to do that. And feelings of failure, man, they creep in. They just take control of your life. And I was really starting to feel that way. Like I was failing in like every area of my life, in ministry, relationship with my wife, relationship with my family, relationship with God, just regular disciplines, keeping my life in order. Just felt like all of that was really spiraling out of control. So I asked God, what do I do? And sometimes, God speaks to me like right away. He's very faithful to answer, and sometimes He lets me sit on a question for a while, almost as if to see if I take it seriously. Like, if you ask somebody something once, maybe you're not that serious about it, but if you're constantly like bringing that conversation up with a person, it shows that you care and it matters to you. So I feel like He was doing that with me. Like, how serious are you about getting an answer from me? So He kind of just sat there for a while and didn't talk and let me ask the question and prayer a lot before answering. And I felt like He started to speak through people around me that I cared about, that had voices of influence. So the first thing was one of the guys in my core group. He and I were talking about like exercise and routines and stuff like that, because I love working out. And he was like, yeah, I get up really early, like every morning, like 5 or 6 in the morning. And first thing is I go to the gym, and a lot of times I like do my devotion or do homework after I get back. And I was like, who are you? I've never met a more responsible college student before. And I just made the comment with him, like, yeah, I'm not a morning person. I wish I could do that. And that's just where the conversation ended. Right after he and I hung out, I came back home and I had some downtime, so I jumped on my phone and I got on YouTube. And there's a guy that I follow on YouTube that like owns his own gym and posts a lot of great stuff as far as like workouts and diets, and I just really like his content. So I jump on my phone, and the first video that pops up in my news feed is why I get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. And I was like, that's weird. And then there's another guy that I follow that is a member of that gym, and these two guys are good friends. And literally I scroll down maybe a few videos, and then his video was titled Why I Wake Up at 4 a.m. and Go to the Gym. I was like, what is happening right now? And I felt like in that moment, God was just speaking to me about this new routine that he was wanting for my life, of finally becoming a morning person and developing the discipline to get up early and start my day in a specific way. So the next day, I set my alarm for 5 and I got up. I felt pretty good. I spent some time in prayer. I went to the gym. I lifted up that time in the gym to God and asked him to be present with me and to give me energy to be there. It was a decent workout. I came home. It was probably like 6 or 6:15, and I did my devotions. I read for like half an hour maybe in my Bible, and then I prayed for like 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. And it was an amazing day. So I did that for a few days, and then I felt kind of crappy because I was getting used to it. So then I woke up at 7 one day and didn't really do anything with my morning. I just laid around. And then it just slowly got pushed back, like more and more over time. So that was 2 weeks ago. Last week, today is Monday. Last week, I got up early once, did my thing, felt pretty good. The next day I got up at 5 and I just felt awful. I just felt really sick. I was very nauseous, just a really bad headache, and I went back to bed. That was Tuesday of last week. And then I just kind of convinced myself from that point forward, like, I'm just going to be sick if I get up early tomorrow. So I stopped setting an alarm. Typically, my day starts a little later, but it goes really late into the evening. So sometimes my day doesn't start until 10, maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon, but my day might not be over until 10 or 11 or 12 that night. So it's easy to justify a late start because I don't really have a lot going on in the mornings sometimes. So, I was getting up at like 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock, and man, I just felt so awful, just like absolute garbage, just lethargic all day, still felt sick, still had a headache. And last week, because I didn't have that time block in the morning, I basically didn't have any devotions last week. I didn't spend time personally reading my Bible. I didn't spend time, a little bit, but not much time praying. And I felt it. I felt very empty last week, devoid of just motivation to do the things that I normally love to do. I didn't want to be around people. Just very irritable and just sad, very depressing last week. And that was my hard lesson. So I had a taste of what life could look like, and it was enjoyable. I stumbled, and then I just kind of let it fly. And then I honestly kind of hated my life for like the past week. So I really wanted to like recommit my time starting this week. I'm just weighing the cost in my mind, the benefit of the two, and sleeping in and not having this time with Jesus. It's just not worth catching those extra Z's for me. I just feel worse. So this is what my life looks like currently. I wanted to make this video kind of as an encouragement to people of what life can look like if we're intentionally giving time to God. And I've always wanted to start my day like that, disciplining my body by getting up early and having that discipline of going to the gym and exercising, and then spending time quiet in prayer, reading, studying, when the rest of the world is mostly sleeping and there's no other noise, there's no other voices or distractions, and I can just be alone with God these last few mornings, he's just spoken to me so clearly. I don't have to like sort through a bunch of things in my mind to get to a place where I can be still. I already am, because there's nothing going on right now. You know, my wife is still asleep. The world is still asleep. It's dark outside. My phone's no texts, no notifications. Everyone's still sleeping, or if they are up, they're like me and they're not talking to anybody. That's really special.